So what are the 7 signs that your husband is a narcissist? The first one is that he will quite often find great pleasure and find every opportunity to belittle you, to put you down, to make you feel small, to make you feel like he is superior. The only way for someone as empty and as fragile as a narcissist to feel better than anyone is to put that person down. They are an empty shell of a human being, so therefore they have nothing of value to actually give you, to raise you up and elevate you. So the only way that they can ever find some sort of balance is by making you feel as low as they feel. Because internally, the landscape of a narcissist is a barren tundra, cold, dry, desolate, and empty. Nothing grows there. It's barren. Therefore, he does not have anything to give you or offer you of emotional upliftment, to build you, nothing of the sort. So expect to feel extremely minuscule, small, and diminished in his presence. It's the only way they can feel better about themselves. Number 2 is he will often gaslight you. I have made another video about gaslighting. Please click in this link up here. He will make efforts to gaslight you, which is to create a false recollection of history or perception in your mind, to make you second guess your reality. And he does this in many ways. However, for the brevity of this video, I will mention one. He will plant false recollections of past events in your mind. If you state that we went to the shop yesterday, he'll be like, no, we didn't. That was the day before. So then you start to question yourself. You start to second guess yourself. You start to doubt your own reality. In that way, if he lies to you, of course, he's going to be able to then recollect or refer to this incident to say, you see, but you can't even remember when we went to the shop. You don't remember anything. And that's how they keep driving it and putting their deep subliminal persuasion deep in your subconscious. This is how they will, of course, gaslight you and break you down in order to control and manipulate you. The third sign that your husband is a narcissist is that they are feverishly protective over their phone and devices. A person who has nothing to hide hides nothing. The fact that they are clinging onto their personal devices so protectively means that they're hiding something from you. Try it. Ask to see his phone. If he denies you access, ask him why. Tell him it's important as his wife that you see his phone. And tell him and ask him why is it such a problem for him to give it to you. It's important that you do go through his phone, and I do encourage women to do this, because more often than not, you will understand what they are plotting behind your back and you can plan accordingly. Leaving his phone alone and living in a delusion is allowing the enemy to attack you while you are completely unaware. He could have been plotting to leave you for months, and he's going to do it in a few weeks. And if you don't go through his phone, yes, behind his back, yes, if you can get his fingerprint while he's sleeping or his facial recognition while he's sleeping, go through it. Because you won't know what's coming. You won't know all of the plans, even God forbid, to murder you that are on his phone. You need to go through it somehow without him knowing in order to protect yourself. Yes, people will call, oh, this is sneaky. You're telling women to be sneaky. No, I'm telling women to protect themselves. There's absolutely no benefit in hiding the truth from them or telling them to go on about their merry way to the slaughterhouse when this man is plotting an evil plot against them, and they need to know what's happening. And if they need to know that he is cheating, then they need to know for sure so that they can figure out what it is they want to do with their life. It is their life. It is your life. And there's no greater determining factor of the happiness or sadness of your life than who you marry and who you're living with. He will affect absolutely everything, because we are women. We are the vessels. We are the ones that carry and bring forth life. I don't need to go on a spiel about that, but it is important that you know what is happening. But do so discreetly. Confront him. And if he absolutely does not let you see it, make sure you get to do it behind his back. It's very important that you know. Number 4 is the narcissist sees everything as a transaction. He does not see it as him doing husbandly duties for you, or that is his God-given duty and you're right over him, incumbent upon him by the Sharia or by Allah or by God or by the law or by any authority. He doesn't see it that way. If he takes out the trash, it's an IOU card. If he cooks dinner, it's an IOU card. He's stacking up in his mind a bank of IOU cards to dish at you when you least expect it, to throw it back in your face as soon as he finds the opportunity to weaponize it. He will throw it back in your face. So he will seek payback for a lot of the things, if not everything he does, because that's how narcissists operate. If he does it out of a good heart or altruism, then it's not narcissism we're talking about. You can click off the video and go watch some cats. That's something else. Thank Allah that it's not. But if you're dealing with a narcissist, he's going to do everything as a strategy. Nothing he does will ever be from the goodness of his heart or from a sense of duty or altruism or because he loves you. No such thing with a narcissist. Number 5, he paints one picture of himself outside the house, but behind closed doors, he's an absolute monster. So narcissists love the public image. They live for their image. In fact, their entire persona and psyche is shaped around their image and what reality reflects back to them. So if people adulate them, praise them, glorify them outside, which is common for the overt and grandiose narcissist, they will, of course, do everything to uphold that image. With the covert, fragile, or vulnerable narcissist, all the same thing, they will, of course, not have reality reflect back to them what they believe about themselves. This intellectual superhuman, this godlike personality, this superior human being, this elevated spirit, whatever, bollocks. They will not get people on their side because they don't have the confidence or the personal skills to win people over. Therefore, they, whatever little bit of adoration or appreciation or validation they get from the outside world, they will cling to that fiercely. And they will not allow you to expose them or to show their real face in public. Okay, but either way, both of them are sneaky devils. They will try to show one face to the public and one face behind closed doors. You know the real them if you're married to them. You know them if you live with them. They are two-faced. And that is how you know that is a narcissist. Number 6 is that they dismiss and invalidate everything you do for them. Nothing you ever do is good enough or will be. It's never enough. It's like filling a black hole. It disappears, it is extinguished, it is snuffed out by the darkness, it disappears. There is no amount of goodness and effort and care and love and mothering and nurturing and, just absolute glorification, adulation, adoration, whatever you want to call it, love that you can give this man that will ever satisfy the burning embers of his vapored soul. He will forever languish in misery, depression, anxiety, because deep down he feels like he is not worthy of love and he does not deserve anything good. Therefore, everything you pour into him is invalid. So there's nothing more dismissive and invalidating about this experience. And I know firsthand what it is like to give and give and give and give and sacrifice of yourself to please this person, to bend over backwards and into a pretzel, like Cirque du Soleil style. It will never be enough. You'll just break your back. This will in turn kill your self-esteem because there's no worse feeling than feeling that you're never enough. Especially when they have the roving eye or they're chatting to 5 others supply on their phone. Your self-esteem will plummet, which is why survivors or victims of narcissistic abuse suffer with the worst hit of low self-esteem than they've ever suffered in their lives. And someone like me, I was a coach of self-esteem before I married this man, and I've just now had to climb out of this, so my self-esteem game has gone through the roof. So it's actually when you do come out of it, you will have the highest level of self-esteem. If not, I am here for you. Just watch my videos. Build yourself up again. Number 7 is you are confused, you are anxious, you are drained, you are beyond exhausted. This is firstly because he can go on fighting for 7+ hours at a time. He will drain your life. Secondly, he won't let you sleep. please refer to my video on the sleep habits of a narcissist. They have very erratic sleep habits and are insomniacs. So no, they will torture you while you are sleeping. You will not have restful sleep. You can forget about that. This makes you more easily able to manipulate and drops your defenses, because when you are tired, you cannot defend yourself. This makes it widespread open for brainwashing, control, manipulation, and gaslighting. You will begin to really doubt your own reality. You will really begin to depend on him and believe him for your perception of reality, because you will not, eventually, if it gets to that point, you won't be able to see what's real for what's not anymore on your own. And you will depend on him completely to tell you about what you should think, how you should do, what you should do, how you should feel, etc. This will leave you more than confused, to leave you with mental illness yourself. So another reason under number 7, which is you will feel drained, exhausted, confused, is because of something called hypervigilance. Hypervigilance means that you pay attention to every small micro expression on his face. You pay attention, and all of your senses are highly perked up and primed to absorb and receive the slightest cue of the way he is breathing, the way he moves, the frown on his forehead, the position of his eyebrows, and what expression he has on his face. This is how you operate day to day, and there is nothing more exhausting, because you're constantly scanning for safety. You're constantly reading the room to see if you are going to hit another landmine, or step onto another bomb, or step onto something that's going to explode in your face. And the only way that you can protect yourself from this is by dancing around his very fragile and dysregulated emotions. You're going to be constantly analyzing him to see whether it's safe to do something, or whether he's in a bad mood, so you should steer clear, in which case you will find yourself avoiding him a lot. From the time, if you have kids and they're happily playing in the lounge with their toys, maybe he hates the toys in the lounge. The moment the garage door opens, the kids know, and this is not my personal experience, but is the experience of many. The kids know playtime is over. They will grab their toys and flee the lounge. They don't want to be anywhere near him. You yourself will try to gather up and clean up as quickly as possible, and all of a sudden you switch into top gear. All of your senses are set on high alert, and you are now very, very attuned to all the movements in the house. From the sound of the keys hitting the table, it's magnified. You get superhuman sensory perception, because you're now in fight or flight mode, which means your cortisol levels are spiking due to the intense stress that you are under. It's like you're living in a war zone. You will suffer after this from PTSD or CPTSD, okay, which is post-traumatic stress disorder. You will suffer from this, because this is not a normal way to function. This is the way people who are survivors of war function, or people during a war with literal bombs going off and real threats to their life. Not that the narcissist isn't a real threat, he can be, but this is something akin to living in a war zone. And it is not a natural way to live. It is not even a way to thrive. You will be barely getting by and surviving. And you will become more and more and more worn down as time goes by. So this is something that you need to think about. And of course, no one can tell you what to do with your life. No one can make the decisions for you. No one can advise you in anything. You will know deep down in your gut what you need to do, or how you can best seek help for your situation, depending on the level of demonic possession. He may be open to some degree of introspection and therapy, in which case you can rescue the self-aware narcissist, in which case the relationship possibly could be salvageable. There are many people on social media who are self-aware narcissists, who understand the damage that they are doing, and they are self-correcting as they go along. So it's not a complete write-off. However, the person has to be willing and able. For a narcissist, peace is the enemy. It's like death. They are emotional drivers. They're emotional manufacturers. They want to extort emotion from you and extract emotion. It's the only way that they feel alive, is when they trigger in you very heavy emotions. Unless you can try the gray rock method most of the time, it's going to be very difficult to live with a person like this and to maintain your sanity long term. With that being said, I wish you all a very peaceful life and household, and I hope that your husband is not a narcissist. And sometimes people may have narcissistic tendencies, but if he has all 7 of these, I'm afraid you will need to go to a therapist and seek help. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you. Wishing you all the best. Assalamu alaikum and goodbye.